remember the last time I was on Beyond the Letter. Because I've been only doing Beyond I Do.
He's like, I don't need you on Beyond the Letter anymore because you have your own podcast, darling.
Look at me, I'm famous.
You have your own.
No, but I always feel like when I come on Beyond the one thing I love about Beyond I Do for me and my attention span is it's 45 minutes.
Oh.
After like when Beyond the Letter, I'm like, are we still talking?
We're still going.
We all have a thought. You like get your thought in. And half the time Adam's just getting his thought in and Beyond I Do. And I'm like, oh, let's not do that. So bad.
He's going to say never again. An all women panel with your hums and your and your
I still do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good.
So as you guys see, and you guys are listening, or if you're viewing as well or watching us online, this is an all women's podcast for Beyond the Letter. Turn your stereo down. Turn your volume down.
Because we loud.
Loud. Everyone in here.
And
is
gentlemen, do not turn this off and go, I'm not interested.
No.
That part.
Right,
Please.
That's so rude.
Because we have something to say.
We always.
We do.
They know that. Women are not shy.
We are not shy. No,
give their
no,
opinion.
no.
But we want to welcome you guys to Beyond the Letter.
Woo!
Obviously, myself, I am sitting in the spot of my husband, Adam. We have Pastor Sanaz.
Hello. Hello.
We have Miss America.
Miss America.
Miss America. At
And
your service.
Our lovely friend, Janelle, is in the building.
First time on the pod.
Love it.
First time we're single, ready to mingle.
Okay,
Anyone?
we're gonna get this.
We're
We're gonna
going
get
there
this out of the way.
already.
We're getting it
Okay.
out of the way.
Goodness
Okay,
gracious.
because it's not the whole podcast is not gonna be about this, but it will for one moment. Janelle is single.
Okay, that I am.
Okay, Janelle is a wonderful woman.
She is.
I try
You know,
really hard.
Janelle deserves love.
In all the places.
Whoa. Well, you know,
Biblically. Right. Yes.
if you are a man and you have a job and you love Jesus
And you have all your
teeth,
And not a receding hairline.
and why?
I'm not having that for my friend.
It's okay.
Just get rid of it.
All right, we can do that.
Just get rid of it at that point. But
And you have a
Listen.
job and sustain yourself.
job and ambition. There's a little bit more because they like to throw me any fish. We're not going to go there, but like
You know what?
know,
Okay. Well, we could talk about it if you want to talk about it, but we won't go too far into it.
okay.
I'm just letting you know, this is a good woman right here. Don't ask where all the good women are. We got a Janelle. So you can go ahead and DM me. I will filter it out, and then I will go from there.
There you go.
yeah, there we
That
go.
is all.
Accepting applications.
Accepting applications. We love us some Janelle.
We're gonna
and it's
filter.
time.
And we're going to vet.
All right.
And we're going to vet very much a vetting process.
Vetting.
Yes, we have
Thanks
to.
for the intro.
We have
Yes,
to.
yes.
But we are so excited to be here today on this podcast. We were kind of discussing on what we were going to talk about today. And it is technically a hot topic because the Olympics are going on
Yes.
right now. There's a lot of histories being made. The women's rugby team, USA team, just got bronze medal.
Those
Massive.
girls are
Beasts.
Yes.
beasts. Like
Yeah.
they are, and
scared of them.
sometimes I use the word lightly because I don't want to be like, oh, she's a beast. Like, but no, I mean like she is
strong women.
thick, muscular, strong thighs, just bulldozing people. Like I've never been into a sport like I was with rugby this year.
It was
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was fun to watch.
I saw her beat up like 3 people and still outrun. I don't know her
Stiff
name,
arm,
but like
Ilona.
I don't know,
Ilona,
but
Ilona, yeah.
She's,
Meyer,
she's
She's-
I don't follow her on TikTok, but her TikToks come up on
Yeah.
my page all the time on my feed. She
Yeah.
talks about how she's 200 pounds and people call her obese, and she's like, I don't have an ounce of fat on this body.
That's the
Yeah,
BMI
that's very
one.
Well,
true.
that was the thing that they had said. They said because she had 30.
Oh, 'cause she was considered her BMI.
Right, she was considered obese, but she's an Olympian, and I'm sitting on the couch eating Doritos.
Now I've seen
Same.
now I've seen some
like, how
of
dare
some of
people
the
even say that?
there are some sports where you can still be overweight and still play the sport.
Well, I don't even like
but-
that term overweight. Me and Janelle were
Come on.
talking about this the other day,
Sunday, I
this week,
think,
right?
yeah.
And we were talking about, we all trying to look good, lose some weight, go vacation, just look good and be healthy. And Janelle was talking about like, but why is my doctor still telling me, based off this BMI chart, like I can still lose some more weight? And I told her this BMI chart was made in, I don't know, early 40s. I don't remember the date, but it was all based on white males.
Really?
White
I didn't know
males.
that.
I didn't
Yes.
know
I didn't know
this.
that either.
It is not based on different variety of ethnicities or, nationalities. And we were talking about how African Americans naturally are more muscularly built. So it's like this BMI that we still use today, all this time later, is based off of a white male body prototype. So it's so unfair.
And she's being really kind. My doctor said I was obese. And I was like,
Well, I ain't going to share your business,
I
but
was like, oh, me? Like,
Right.
there's no middle ground? And I
Right.
was like,
Let me
no.
check your chart, sir.
Right? I was like, obese.
Obese,
Yeah.
right. Okay, thanks. But then it goes to say, this is the sad part about it, but like if you are a white male, you can look at that and be like, okay, where do I fall
Right.
among that?
Yeah.
But like, so you can't even judge or justify it for a woman because we carry different things.
Right.
A man doesn't have a chest.
Right.
A man doesn't carry wide hips.
Yeah.
So that
Men don't carry no baby.
none, not one. So
What do you men do?
What do you carry?
yeah, right, right.
The financial weight.
Thank
What's
you,
that
Lord.
BMI?
Praise the Lord.
What's
Thank
your
you.
financial BMI?
Yeah.
There you
Financial
go. BMI.
Adam would say I'm obese.
You a big girl in them finance needs.
I'm a big back girl.
Big back, big back.
That wallet. Or you could say very lean because that wallet
yeah, it
stays
stays
empty.
Skinny.
That part. No, he said either I'm
Calories
one or the
in,
other.
calories
Yeah.
out. Dollars in, dollars out.
could be both.
Fluctuates. We go very,
Wow.
really up and down.
Yo-yo diets.
Wow.
Literally.
What do you think is like? And I'm asking for husbands out there, like, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
go
So
ahead,
what do
Nance.
you think it is when the best way to deliver? Because there is a fine line of like, okay, yeah, we're thick or we're a little bigger or whatnot, but what's the way to best deliver if you do have your husband or your partner to be like, hey babe, like if you are gaining a lot of weight or there is like a health factor that comes into it, like what do you think women are most receptive to when a
They're
husband
not.
wants to deliver? It doesn't matter how
No,
nice they say
there's
it.
no nice way to say it.
There's no nice
well,
way.
I was just listening to the Beyond I Do that you guys did, and it's you have to understand that there is I am attracted to you versus I want you to be healthy versus you are being really insecure because you don't love yourself. Like there's a lot of different factors, and we have to lean into those ones.
Yeah.
Rather than like, wow, those pants used to fit you and now they don't. You need to do something about it. It's like
Yeah.
that's not an appropriate way to speak to somebody. But yeah, it's just I can tell because my husband would be like, I am attracted to you when you have self-confidence, and right now you cry every time you go shopping because nothing fits you. And I don't want you to cry. I want you to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my husband, I don't, you guys have known the story, like when we first got married, I'm like, I want to work out, right? And we used to live across the street from a junior college. So my husband made the biggest mistake ever that he could as a male to a woman.
oh no.
So he said, let's go work out. I was like, okay, let's go work out. And they had stairs, field, whatever. So we were walking across the street to go work out. And he's like, okay, you ready? And I'm like, yeah, let's start. And then all of a sudden he pulls out this whistle from under his shirt.
Oh no.
And goes, and I looked at him. I just started walking home. That was our first experience with working out.
Sir.
Not a
But
whistle.
now, he's learned his lesson. Now I'm so grateful because now it's not. It's like you said. It's not about like the size, like in regards to like, oh, you look a specific size versus I prefer you to look a different size. Which certain things I'm okay with that saying.
Right.
But it's more he's been thinking just longevity, right? We have 3 daughters, and we have our oldest who is married and about to start planning to have a family and children, and he's thinking future wise, like He's like, you're huffing going up the stairs. Like, I want you to live, 80 plus years to enjoy our daughters and our grandchildren. And that resonates with me.
Yeah.
Versus like, those pants are tight or, But it does go back as well. Like you said, like self-confidence. Like I got on the scale the other day and he's like, that wasn't a good response. And I'm just like, yeah, I got to do something about it. But it's just more about how am I feeling in regards to personally about myself and his encouragement to like push me because he knows what I'm capable of.
Right.
Right? Like our partners know what we're capable of.
Yeah.
And our partners know us so well that they know what to say and how to say it versus what will affect or trigger us in a negative way.
Right. So then I'll ask you this then, Janelle, because obviously we are on the hunt. And because we are on the hunt, has there ever been a point in time for you in your physical and hearing from your doctor saying you're obese, or what keeps you motivated to stay active? Because you are very active. You're in the gym,
you post yourself 7
hike
times a day at the gym.
all the time.
I'm like, whoa.
So what
work out.
at what point did that trigger? Has it always been you've worked out, or because I know we talk a lot about it. Naturally, for me, being an athlete, it just comes naturally. I want to work out. This is I release things. I enjoy it. I do like working out to an extent. When I don't want to, I don't. But because if that wasn't your life, you do softball, you did grow up in that world, has it always been a continual of like, my health is what is important, and I think that it should be important in being in a relationship with somebody too, or that it should be a level of what you desire for yourself?
Well, for me, in my fitness, it came more important when I would like wake up with a stiff neck or sleep wrong, and I was like, what is this? And it was age. And then so it grew into the longevity that you were mentioning. It's like, let me start now, so when I'm getting older, it's not as hard to jump back in. And to tie that into the dating scene, I don't want a guy that's only attracted to a certain body type, but I do want to present myself well. Like, I want to show up the best me, and working out does give me confidence. It does, help, me shine a little better. And, but yeah, I don't think a guy has ever mentioned anything about my weight or what he prefers.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to you working out, has that been a desire? Like I know if you never worked out again, do you think you'll still find a man? You know what I mean? Like, or do you think like this is what is a motivation that I want?
It's a motivation because I love everything athletics. And so I'm attracted to men who love that world too. And no, you don't have to be, that 6-pack gym, gym rat. But I would love having that part of my life with a mate. So that does, kind of.
Yeah, because I mean, naturally for you and Nathan, Pastor Nathan, you guys came to work out together. It wasn't something that you guys built up.
Yeah, I was working when we got married. I worked out a lot, and he was very overweight, and he was a little bit shy about the gym because he didn't feel very accepted at the gym. And then when he started to take his health seriously, that's when he actually built a home gym until he started to feel comfortable actually going to the gym. I've always worked out. I've just had ebbs and flows after getting married where it wasn't enough. I was I just got busy with kids and I was always tired and things like that. So then my workouts would be, a 30-minute walk. Like that won't do nothing because I'm eating cookies. But I always feel like if you are somebody who has that in you, the wanting to do fitness, wanting to work out, it's kind of a bug that doesn't go away. You might go a few weeks or a few months or whatnot, maybe not doing as much, or a year. But you always come back to it. I always came back to it. There was never a long time where I wasn't working out. Just the amount that I would work out sort of fluctuate based off of if I'm not feeling great about myself, if I'm really, really tired or stressed out. I'm not the type of person that likes to, okay, you know what, I ate really bad yesterday. Let me go work this off the next day. I ate really bad yesterday. I'm not really in the mood to work out because I feel heavy and it almost kind of sends me on a spiral that way. But I always find my way back. So I just always have to remember, like, okay, just kind of go through the motions until you feel like you wake up and you're like, I'm gonna have a good workout today. But
yeah, that's
how
really
about
good.
you, Ashley? Because I know you're workout routine.
Oh, Ashley works out on vacation
Super serious.
too.
Well,
I have
we know.
witnessed
We
it.
know.
We know.
In seeing your post and you saying like I
Yeah.
love solo workouts,
Yeah.
but I loved even more working out
Yeah.
with my man.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like, no, you don't need to love fitness as much as I do, but it would be
Yeah.
cherry on top if you did.
Yeah, I enjoy because we mentioned it on the podcast. I am just such a competitive person. That's why I like working out alone. Like you've even invited me to cycling, but I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna beat Janelle, and I don't want that because I love Janelle. She's my friend. But there's something
don't
deep
know if
down
she'd
within
beat me
me.
though, but-
Yeah.
Oh,
see,
my.
see,
Okay.
I love this. See, that's I love/hate because then I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna do that. But there's something about, because obviously Adam going through his fitness journey and everything like that, there was never a time. I mean, I've had my conversations with my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, of just because there was something I never wanted to discourage my husband because I've known the life that I've lived of fitness. And that and he's had some glimmers through his life with it, with running and things like that. But I never wanted to discourage him in what he was comfortable in. And then I never wanted to discourage him in being in competition with his wife, because I'm going to do it regardless, with or without him. So when it came to Adam wanting to lose weight and everything, I was very encouraging. But there were some things that I would discuss with Sanaz and Nathan and basically be like, y'all, I'm worried. Like, he is gaining weight. I want him here. He's using his inhaler more than he needs to. And I think that was the main thing I've told you multiple. I think the inhaler thing just scares me because I'm just like, you are relying on medication to breathe, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So that was my only concern that I would bring to him. And then that's kind of where he kind of reeled it in and was like, okay, we got to get this together. But when it comes to working out and when I was able to work out with him, it just made me happy because I was just like, we are a healthy couple and we're going to get there together. And obviously the other things can happen, but the fact that I got to work out with him, not to say we're going to do it all the time, but that he's starting to enjoy it. That's what I enjoyed, working out with him in that aspect. But yeah, you know me,
So-
I love working out.
So that takes me to, I want to ask a question, because you're talking about sort of the different aspects when it specifically comes to working out, and how you can be competitive with some people, how you can be encouraging, how you can want to do some things alone. There are some people who are a little codependent when it comes to working out. So as we're like a female podcast right now, I want to ask you guys, when it comes to friendships, whether that's friendships in your faith or just like regular friendships, where do you find that your friendships lay when it comes to your walk in Christ, or even just life, and how we have sometimes competitiveness with one another, or encouraging one another, or wanting to do certain things alone, or wanting to have people around us? Like, what is the thing that really drives you when it comes to who you're friends with, and how you like to sustain your friendships, how you are, with the type of accountability that you like to have when it comes to walking with Christ and things like that, and just sort of talking about that a little bit. So, like, I guess my question would be to any of you guys that want to answer, what is it that you look for in a friend? And this could be guys, girls, anything like that. But what is it that you look for in a friend, but specifically that helps you in your Christian walk?
It's good.
I mean, first I would say the most important is that we have the same values, right? That, there may not be some things that we agree on 100% in just, life situations or life stuff and decisions. But if we have the same values, I trust that if I am going through something and I come to the person or the people that I have created a friendship with, that I know that their counsel will be from the same viewpoint, whether it's biblically, for most importantly, and wisdom, because I know that they hold value to certain things like I do. And it could be like working out may not be a big value to me, right? Mm-hmm. That's just a preference, like where Ashley works out great, but she encourages me in regards to like, you can do it. Like, don't make excuses, because sometimes we do need to hear like, that's an excuse, right? Like, I think you could go to the gym or you can get up and do whatever. But it's to me, the basic foundation is values. We have to have the same values in order for me to create a true friendship with people.
I agree. I think the values kind of lay the foundation, because kind of comparing the friendships to going to the gym, I'm a friend of many and all. And so, but I caught myself in a season of inviting in friends that, say if I'm comparing it to the gym, like people I know that don't work out, so don't have the same spiritual values as me. And I'm bringing them to the gym per se, and they're clapping on the smallest things I'm doing because, you know, they don't work out. They're not challenging me. And when I do bad, eat bad, or, you know, there's no accountability. And so, and then I do have a few friends that would challenge me. It's like, but do I want to be challenged right now? Like, do I just want to go to the gym? But when we had our women's sprint, one of the nights was about sisterhood or friendships, and I think we were at the table. I don't think we were on stage, but I was telling Sanaz and maybe some others that I felt guilty of having so many friends, and I don't see all of those friends as iron sharpening iron. Like, I just feel like I'm just being a friend to many. And then I heard something, and it was saying meals, ministry, and misery. And I think it was Jackie Hill, but she said Jesus did meals with everyone. You sit down, you
break bread.
Yeah, pray for everyone. You do meals with everyone. Ministry, he did ministry with 12. Misery, he did it with 3. Like, I don't need to group all of my girlfriends into those 3 or into the 12. Like, I can have different categories, but values is the main thing.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that. I think
Meals, ministry, and misery.
No, that's really good. I'm just very intrigued. I've never been one to have a lot of friends. Just growing up naturally, I played soccer, so my friends were my soccer teammates. So it's always interesting to hear a perspective of someone who's friends with many, because I will tell people, and I've told you guys this, my motto isn't, it's probably terrible, but I'm like, I'm not an everyday friend. Like, you're not going to hear from me every day. And not to say that I don't care about you, because if you were to call me, I'm going to answer. But like, I'm not checking in on you. I'm not. Adam does amazing. Like, how well he's connected. He goes, oh, I do. I'm the one. And I'm like, bro, that's exhausting. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? But that's just naturally how he is. Am I a friendly person? Absolutely. You want to party? Everybody can come. Like, let everyone come. But do I have the friendship in that aspect? I don't. So that's where it's why I'm very protective of who is in my circle, and I'm very tight with who's in my circle. And I had a woman who was at our at the run club for a rancho, and she was like, can I pull you to the side for a minute? I was like, yeah, sure. She was like, I need you to know, obviously, in the season that you're going in, you cannot have everyone in your circle. And to hear that from somebody who I don't know personally at all,
Right.
who's in our church, who's in our congregation, who, not to say that she would, but a lot of, in this, please don't take this out of context, would probably want to be a friend and be a friend of mine. She's like, don't let everyone be in your circle. And that for me was really refreshing, because I feel like sometimes too, because Janelle, you're great at hosting and bringing people together, and I feel like God has created us in different ways and different personalities for different reasons and for your personal gain. So like for me to look at you, I look at it and I admire that of you, but I am still content in the fact that I do how I do. Like, I have my friends how I have my friends, because that's where I feel like God protects me in my safe space and place. But like for you, you're like, I want to know, like, how do you navigate those friendships too, of, like you say, you have you eat with the many. What does that look like though? Like, are you checking in on them every single day? Are you hanging out with them? Do you still give them biblical knowledge? Are you inviting them to church to be in your 12, to be in your 3? Like, how does that work?
Good question.
I think one thing that I'm learning now is to be friendly. Like, I don't have to be everybody's friend and offer them that same small circle friendship, but be friendly and eat with, many. But it just looks like it's shining my genuine light no matter what circle I'm in. And it's the light that I found, not to pump myself up, but that's what it's attracting people.
Yeah.
And so they're coming
Sure.
to me, and I'm not going to, turn them away. I'll be friends with whoever. And I do need to set boundaries for myself of how much I'm pouring out. Because if I'm out in my outer circle just pouring out and not checking in the inner circle of my close friends to be poured into, that's when I, become a little off balance. But it's just, I run into many and I don't say no. And it's like, sure, let's go to coffee. Let's do this. And it's, I remember last year I went to a coworker, his wife passed away, and I went to her funeral at Sandals Church, and it blew me out of the water to see the love, and her life was so purposeful, and she had people of every walk in that chapel, and she had so many friends go up there talking about how they led them to Christ. And she said her best friend said that she invited her to a church night, and she knew she wasn't about church, but she said, hey, there's free childcare.
Hey,
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to come commit this 5-week? They kind of had like a sprint, free childcare. She was like, sure. And she made it seem like I want to learn about this, whatever topic they are learning. She did the 5 weeks, gave her life to the Lord, found out her best friend already went through that sprint, and she just wanted to introduce. And it gave me a reminder, like, that's the light I need to shine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to like quote them scriptures. So I just try to shine it, that light, be consistent, and then, but keep it balanced on checking in with my friends in the small circle. Like, Sanaz, what Wednesday do you have available? Like, when can we hang out? Because I can't just keep pouring myself out.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like how you had mentioned about like the differences in regards to like, because I feel I can relate with you. Like, I am not good at constantly checking in on people. It's just never been me. And there was a point where I started to feel bad or like guilty that I wasn't doing that as much as other friends were doing that to me. And I had to the Holy Spirit literally was just like, Erica, you're you. Like, God made you the way you are. Like, there's nothing wrong for you not reaching out every day and saying good morning or whatever, on a regular basis, like other ones. Like, God places certain people in your life that will do that. And then you just be Erica. And I had to, it was hard because I felt like I wasn't being a good friend.
Right.
Right. Like,
Right.
But when I do, like when someone is on my mind, I immediately will pray
Text
for
them.
them, and then I'll text them, and I'll be like the other day, I have had a friend that I've known since 2nd grade.
Wow.
And there was a group of us that were all friends since young age, and she kind of fell out of the group. And I haven't talked to her since I think my brother died.
Wow.
Right? And she just had been on my mind and on my heart, and so I was just like, hey, you've been on my mind. I just hope all is well. Just thinking of you, praying for you. Just wanted to say hi. And so in those moments, I'm very I can't even think of the word. Like I'll immediately do
You're
it.
intentional.
Right. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
intentional of like
in those
sending the
moments.
message at that moment. And to me, like I overcame that guilt.
Yeah.
And to me, that I'm like, okay, God, thank you. Like, thank you, Holy
Right.
Spirit, for letting me know I'm okay to be me
Yeah.
and not feel bad for it.
Well, and it's so interesting because I think that happens to everybody where all of a sudden you can't get somebody out of your mind, but if it's embarrassment because you haven't talked to them in so long and you're like, God, I don't know if I want to necessarily contact them because then maybe they'll say like, wow, I haven't heard from you in a really long time, this and that and the other. And so it ends up deterring us from even reaching out. But the Holy Spirit puts them in our heart for a reason. And how much effort does it really take for us to just say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. And anytime I've ever done that, and there have been times where God's put people on my heart and I didn't do that. But whenever I do, it always is a response of, oh my God, your timing is impeccable because I'm going through this or whatnot. And you're like, okay, Holy Spirit, thank you for that. But I love what you said though, because I'm just like, that's probably why we get along so well, because we don't have to talk
We don't
to
expect
each other.
to text all the time.
See you next year. Yeah.
I'll see you in a week.
And And so I'm very bad, and all my friends know. Like, please don't. One of y'all asked how my best friend Natasha was. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I've talked to her in like 8 months. Maybe I should call her. I literally said, I have no idea how she's doing. Maybe a year. I'm not sure. But that we've always been those types of friends that like see you when I see you, you know. But but even in those moments, the Holy Spirit does know my personality, that I'm not going to check on somebody, but He will put that person in my heart when they need me. And so it's an encouragement to always, just listen to that and just, get over ourselves and how we're going to be perceived in that moment. And just send that text or make that call.
Yeah.
And just let Him do what He does. And
I think the enemy does an excellent job in those moments where you're like, oh, I haven't reached out in like, years. Like, I'm not going to do it because, what are they going to think about?
Right.
And I think that happens not only in just like friendships that you haven't had, like, conversations with or connection with in a while. I just think generally in life, the Holy Spirit will the enemy will just tell us things in our mind and our conscious to think that like, oh, I'm not going to go there because I'm probably not wanted, or I'm not going to, whatever the case may be. And I think as like believers in Christ, we have to tap into the Holy Spirit more than we
100%.
listen to the enemy
100%.
that tries to deter us from doing something. When like we know we haven't done anything wrong, it's something that is on our hearts or pressed on our minds to do, and then we just have to really tap into the Holy Spirit in those moments and like tell the devil he's a liar. Like
100%. There was a girl, and it's just a crazy story that happened. We went to college together. Her name was Jen Funch. Absolutely loved her. She was a diver on Florida. She's the sweetest person ever. She got married. She had 2 kids. And something within me, like she would pop up on my Instagram every now and then. We didn't keep touch, but we were super close in college. So when I tell you, like, I'm a bad friend like that, yeah, like you kind of just dwindle out sort of thing. But something which she just kept popping up on my Instagram. And I said, I'm thinking about you and I'm praying for you. Are you having another kid? Like I just said, like, I was just like, are you, like, there's something with it. Like, are you pregnant? Like, I see you posting. I know you have 2 kids, but like, are you going to have another? And she goes, actually, I have 2 miscarriages. And she said, I've had 2 miscarriages, so it's been really difficult, but we are trying to get pregnant. She said she texted me the following week. She goes, I'm pregnant. And then she goes, the baby's due on your birthday. And I said, this is wild. Because it was one of those things where I was
Is
just
the baby
like,
named Ashley?
she's adorable. She's adorable. But it's certain things where I feel like you said, you got to lean into the Holy Spirit of just like, you know what? You as a Christian have a responsibility to stand on God. And if God has told you to do something, you have to do it. And we can't shy away. Like Sanaz said, like I have made mistakes and not reached out.
Yeah.
And you don't know what that you may have missed out on a God opportunity. Because I don't know where my friend's walk is. I don't know if she goes to church. But I know in that moment there was a spark of faith that God gave me to her as just being a testimony to say, I'm praying for you. Like God sees you. And I think that's what you say as a friend, to say, God sees you. You may not see what I see, but I see that God sees you.
Yeah.
And that He wants you to know that. And so I think when it comes to friendships, I think that also comes down to the encouragement that we have to continually, whether it's in your 3 or your 12 or your crew or the big crew, I think you have to obviously, like you said, continually be the light in those dark places, even if you don't feel like doing it, but the Holy Spirit is leaning you into doing it. But then making sure, like you said, that you have your 3 that you can get refreshed with, that you can pray with, that you can go to war with. Because I think if you start to dilute those areas, I feel like that's where the enemy is going to try and sneak in and convolute your circle and try to tear it apart. Because you know our story, many of times we thought we had a tight circle, and then seasons change, and God's like, this is changing. And I had to get out of the mindset of being secluded and not having friends, because I'm not going to grow. Yeah. I'm not going to have peace. I'm not going to have joy. I'm not going to have who's pouring into me. I can't just have Adam pouring into me. Like, what?
I'm glad you brought that up because I think we probably have all experienced like seasons of friendships that have come and gone. And in the moment, right, because of the hurt and the betrayal or, you know, whatever has happened or occurred to just for that season to be over, it's hard in the beginning, right? Trying to understand and make sense of why things happened. But I decided after a certain time to just be grateful for the things that I did learn and that I did get to experience during that season. Because at the end of the day, whether it was a good or a bad like ending, I had great times, you know?
Right.
Like we had great
Right.
times, we had great memories, you know. So it's difficult to like flip the switch in
Right.
regards to like seeing things from a different perspective, but it's good to be grateful for even the moments for something that didn't turn out as you planned.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't know why I'm thinking about just even dating life when you think about
Lord.
it. You think about dating life and you're like, dang, like that. I'm sour that it ended in that relationship, but I'm grateful for what I learned that I liked and I didn't like.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what I want to take either in my next relationship or friendships, or asking the right questions now. Because I was talking to Nikki the other day and she was telling me that she was hanging out with a group of friends and she's like, I was asking them a question in regards to in marriage, like how would you, what should I be asking while I'm dating? What questions should I be asking the person? And I said, the one thing for me when it comes to just asking questions to someone if you're interested in or just wanting to get to know, I said the one thing that has benefited, it wasn't even a question. The one thing that I did my best with meeting Adam is I wanted a friend. I wanted a friend. Regardless of where this was going, I felt like God said, you need to be his friend first before you can see where this goes down the line. For me, because I've always jumped in like, let's get this thing going. Whoa, like, you're right. Skip the friend part because you're fine. But it came down to where the friendship part, because that's what gets me and Adam through.
Well, yeah, because that's your best friend for life. Like if you decide to marry, like that's who you're spending the rest of your life
Right.
with, God willing, and it's like you need to be friends.
Right. So like even talking about friendships, Adam was my like we say this all the time. When Adam and I got engaged, everyone said, I thought you guys were best friends. Bet.
You're like, we are.
This is easy. The money,
Check.
you know what I mean? So like the fact that was something that they said encouraged me, because even in time, you fight with your best friend, but then I say, girl, what you want to go eat? That's me and Adam. He'd be like, you did da-da-da-da. And I'm like, bro, where we going to eat? Quit playing. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I think when it comes to friendships, dating, or anything like that, I think asking the right questions or getting to know them on a deeper level, holding accountability, because those are things that obviously Adam and I did. That's what we do with each other. We hold each other accountable. I think they all can bleed together with friendships and relationships if you're looking for someone. I don't know. We can get on the topic. We can if you want. What has been something that you have like struggled seeing with when dating guys? Do they desire just to jump right into like, girl, I want to marry you? Or is it like, I want to get to know you?
No, they're weird.
Yeah, they're majority are just weird.
What describe a weird
Oh, Lord.
interaction?
Let's get into the dating the dating disasters of Janelle Jones.
Gosh.
Let's go.
I mean, you go from friendships to dating. Let's see.
Right.
What's
so
weird?
So you've never had a friendship with a guy that you went into dating with?
No.
Really?
No. I would say the weird thing that I'm encountering right now is the minute they hear or see like the label of I'm a Christian, it just gets weird. It's like
They start talking different.
yeah, like I had a first date and it was a lunch date. He was fine. He was normal. And then I think we exchanged Instagrams, and then so he saw that I was involved at the church. And then the second date, he did like the long Thanksgiving Day prayer. And it was just like, bro, you didn't even pray the first. Okay. So we're holding hands. We're praying over Thai food. And then we're eating. And he breaks out in song. And he starts singing Never Would Have Made It as we're eating lunch. And I wanted to cry. Like, I was just like.
You got in your car and you called me that
did.
day.
I wasn't
And you said, save me. Because I said, give this guy a chance.
I was gonna say, like, in that moment, okay, however long the song was, do you like I like my personality would be like, can I ask you, why'd you sing that song? Like right now?
No,
like I'm just curious what led you to lead that song.
I'm very immature. I'm not mature yet in that area. So
Janelle,
if
you
I'm,
can't say stuff like that.
sorry,
We're trying to find you a husband.
I mean, if I'm eating pad thai and then you're singing Donnie McClurkin, like I'm cracking and I'm like, where's the camera? Like, this isn't real.
You're like, am I getting punked?
Yeah, I'm just like, okay,
but like
stop.
I would, maybe he just trying to impress you in that way.
That's fine. You're weird.
No, he just had an awkward moment. What if it was an awkward moment and then you're like, you don't need to do that?
But let me ask you
It
this.
wasn't a joke. He wasn't.
No.
joking.
So wait, but
No.
No, it was him.
wait. So was the first date was good?
The first day was good, and he was himself. And then we exchanged Instagrams, and I think he went digging. And then, because one of the first things, I don't know, you're a pastor's daughter, and oh, you're involved at your church. And I'm like, here we go, like one of the 12 disciples. And then, then we go to lunch and Thanksgiving prayer. And then
Could he pray?
it was like, thank you for the chopsticks. And then I just thank you for, like, yeah, it's just
Soy sauce.
it's just they go over the top, and I had a
Lord, I thank you for the wood that
Yeah.
made these chopsticks. I thank
The
you for the
water.
soy that made the soy sauce.
Can I get an amen? And it was just like, it was a lot.
Thank you for the peanuts, for the peanut sauce.
And
Thank you, Lord.
I don't want to say in his defense, but maybe he was just trying to leave an impression on you. It was not the right one.
No, and I could, you know what I would say in that moment, because this would be a great topic. Obviously, Adam would probably chime in really well on this. Is obviously, I don't want to go back into the Olympics and all of what had happened and what was displayed on the opening ceremony, but the mockery that comes down to it too, but also the intimidation that comes with being a Christian. Mm-hmm. I think he was very intimidated, and what he was trying to do was impress you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that part for him, and that's the hard part, I think, even when it comes to dating and it comes to confident women, is where a lot of men may say, like, whatever, she's just being a you-know-what, because she thinks she's got it all together. She don't need me. She don't need this, because she got her ducks in a row. She's got a job. She's got a car. She's got a house. She don't need me. And then you throw on she's a Christian. That being a Christian, sometimes in the aspect of a male, they think like, oh, they got it all together. Like that, this is like she has it all, to where it becomes intimidating, and I don't know how to act, or I have to now reach the bar above her to make it seem like I'm just as equal with her in that setting or in that scenario, to where I want to show you that I can pray. I want to show you that I know a Christian song. I want to show you, I don't know if he brought out his Bible, or he quoted all the scriptures, but there is a level of too, where if you have a confident, obviously talented, intelligent Black woman who is a Christian, I don't know why, you're intimidating. You're just, you find that?
Yeah, I feel like they think I'm looking for a deacon or a disciple. Like, and it's like,
You just want someone normal.
just normal.
Do you remember, Janelle, do you remember a conversation that you and I had a few years ago? She's smiling. She's like, oh gosh, here we go. We had a conversation because we are friends, and so sometimes I'll call her and be like, the Lord's telling me to tell you this. And it's always at like 7 a.m. I know.
Don't call me that.
You'll be working out.
I
know.
I'm like, not yet.
Because I think I want to get a male perspective from this. So if maybe for people who are watching or listening to just
chime
kind of
in.
let us know.
Andy.
Andy can't tell us. Andy, thank you, but no. So we talked about the fact that at the time you were like a project manager working with a lot of men who were in blue collar work. And that was the type of most of the conversations that you were having in an 8-hour day were with these types of men. And then on top of that, you are a confident woman. You are a little bit older in the dating game. And
not old.
She's not old. I said she's not in her
older.
20s. She's not in her 20s. Yeah. So So she can be intimidating. And we talked about leaning into the femininity when dating because of situations like that, where a man's trying to, because a man does want to lead, he has to now be, okay, so you are at a 9, I have to be at a 10. And then at that point, because you are smart enough to realize that it's an act, you're like, I don't want to deal with this. But what do we think in those moments? What are you doing to not necessarily dumb yourself down to find a man, but you're able to be confident, but then also feminine, and allowing a man to be able to be himself when wanting to date you? That's sort of what we've been trying to figure out for the last couple of years, how a man can be confident with how confident you are without feeling intimidated.
Well, I remember that season, and there was a lot of self-reflection I had to do. And I remember around that time when I was working there, and one of my brothers, I said something to him, and he was like, I don't know who you're talking to if you think I'm one of your little project managers. Because I didn't even realize the way I was talking to him. I was like bossing him around. And then it hit me. I was like, am I talking to my dates like this? It was just like self-reflection. And then a little after that, I was still at that job, and it was 24/7. So I had my phone on me, and I always thought, not to show off, but like, if my phone rings and it's for work and I'm on a date, he'll understand. Like, you got a working woman. Like, he'll understand. And I remember I was on a date, and my phone was blowing up, and I was like, oh, I'll get it. Can I get it? It's work. Can I get it? It's work. And he's not going to say no, but he was very, like, turned off by that. Like, and I could tell, and I was like, why? It's work. And then he later voiced his concern, saying, I took time to go on a date with you. Like, I put my work aside. I was hoping you would too. And I'm not looking for a woman to financially take care of me. Like, I don't want you to be the boss chick, you know? And I was just like, okay. Okay. So that was one of the signs, like, I don't need to compete with the man on a date when it comes to career.
Because in your work, you have to show that you can sit at the big boys' table. So you almost have to really lean into the masculine energy. But how do we not lean into the masculine energy? You know, like switching that off from work into dating life, or just, life outside of work, of just being able to be like, I want to be a passenger princess. I want to be a woman, a kept woman. Let me be that at work. But then when I come home, I want to absolutely tap into my feminine power and all of those things. Yes.
It was getting over the denial, because I didn't even know I was in it until first my brother said it, and then when I was going on those dates, and I was like, oh, dang. So then I just quit that job. No, those are the reasons. No. But
You're like, he'll ask me on date number 2.
You're changing me. It's your fault.
But it was like, okay, let them lead. Like, I'm very competitive too. So it was like, watch that switch. Like, you don't need to compete, in everything, especially with someone you want to be on the same team with. Like, control that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we talk about it all the time. Nathan, be Nathan. You lead it. We follow.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Adam will, Nancy, solid experience. Ashley, you don't do nothing. Show don't. You better figure it out. Exactly. Take me where you got to take me.
I want to be you guys so bad.
Could I do it though? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I don't want to.
Exactly.
I'm waiting for my husband to catch up to that.
But you're the travel agent over here. You're
No,
the boss.
but still,
Erica,
like-
you literally, I sent you a TikTok the other day, which I don't think is anything negative. I think it's amazing. Is that you just have some natural gifted women that you have a husband, for example, that are okay with a woman being good at what she's good at.
Yeah.
Erica is good. She gonna figure out how to do her nails. She gonna figure out how to put them braids in Faith's hair. She's gonna do her own makeup. Could she do it on her? Could she have someone else? Absolutely. But if it's gonna save her a buck or two so she can travel, she's gonna do it. But that's something that
Hashtag
her
single mom life.
Hashtag single mom. But that's something that your husband admires about you, though.
Well,
he loves that about you.
Yeah, it took time to get there, because at first it was intimidating is not the right word. I forgot what word he's used in the past, where he felt like he was had to compete and like do something to show that he's the man of the house. Where he just finally accepted that, you know, there's just some things that he's just not good at and I'm good at, and vice versa. There's a lot, like,
100%.
I am
Well,
not
my
good
husband
with
makes
the
me
money.
kill the spiders in the house. He's scared of spiders.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, but no, I've had, and we've had like passionate disagreements about like, I'm like, sometimes I just want to just show up and like tell me where we're going, and then he's like, I can't do that because you'll always complain about why didn't we do this way, why didn't we go that way. So it is.
Yes. All the time.
So it is something that I have to be conscious about when he is planning something. And so now he's got to the point where he's not telling me anything. He'll just be like, be ready at 9. And I'm like, okay. So in my mind, I'm just like, what are we doing? But I literally had to be like, shut up.
Well, he would even do that with us. We'd be like, oh, you guys want to hang? He's like, oh, no, I'm taking Erica out. And I'd be like, oh, I already know. You ain't finna tell me because I'm going to tell her where you going.
Yeah, so and it was hard.
Like,
It's
it's a
it's
surprise.
hard when you're naturally like someone that just. My husband says I have a control problem. I'm a control anonymous a meeting person. No, but it was hard. But I like this whole feminist movement. I want to be a passenger princess. I don't
Who
need.
fought for our rights to work?
Right. Why?
Why
am I here
Bring
right now?
back.
Let me make sourdough from scratch.
Right? What's her name? Nona?
Let me-
Today
yeah.
I'm going to make some sourdough bread.
Yeah, and but it took a while to get to where I think that, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't need to be, and nothing wrong with you boss babes.
Oh no,
I-
I'm
I-
unemployed.
Yeah,
I'm not a boss
like,
babe.
you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with those people trying to
Yeah.
achieve certain goals. I'm at a point in my life where I am content just being a mom and a wife.
Yeah. Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
I think that's something.
I did. There was this. Well, I'm still in the season. I started to listen to men more than like. You would hear their complaints or women do this, and I'm always like, yeah. But I'm like, okay, let me actually take in what they're saying. And I have male friends that would tell me that some of their dating issues were they would go on dates with women and they would lead with, I have this many degrees. What do you have? I make this much. What do you make? And they're like, that competitive spirit, like, it's not attractive. And I would always think to myself, oh, those are idiots. But here I am with my work phone, like, showing off and taking the call. I need to show him I'm this. But it was interesting and I see it. There's a lot of women who do that.
So I'm going to challenge you because he said he had a conversation with you about like, I took the time off of work to, be intentional about the date with the guy who's saying whatever he's saying and prayed the Thanksgiving prayer.
That's a different guy. No, that was a different guy.
No. Yeah.
No. I know that. But what I'm getting at
Janelle's
is
like, don't make me call him. Don't make me call him.
no, like the same thing that guy told you, like, it's okay. I feel like it's okay as a woman to be like, you don't have to do that. Let's rewind. He just gave a first bad impression trying to impress you with something that he knew that you were into. But maybe he's not even that, and that's okay. But he won't know because I don't know if you'll give him a second chance.
Can he sing?
No.
Oh,
So there's more that goes into
Okay.
it. So he's Lord, I hope he doesn't see this. But he's into acting too. And so I just
remember
felt
this story.
he was always putting on a personality. I just didn't know who was him.
Gotcha.
It was a horrible personality, but each time it
yeah.
was like something different, and I was just like, this isn't a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go to the extreme, but
Like, look, Medea.
yeah, it's given Medea. Yeah.
So when you're going on dates and meeting new guys, are you finding yourself in the same routine of guys, or is it more so like, okay, they've got a good degree, like what is stopping you from going on a third date? Majority. Well, obviously we know the singing stopped the second one, but like what?
I'm not going on like a whole bunch of date.
Okay.
My struggle is I don't really get approached.
Okay, well then I'll ask this because I know that we'll have probably a lot of women listening as well, and we have a lot of single women in the church, and the concept that everyone keeps sharing, and they're like, well, go to church and you'll find somebody, and they're like, where? They're not there, or they're talking to everyone in the church. So Janelle, what do you do personally? Because I know I've started talking to my friend Nikki as well, who you've tagged along because she's single, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, you ain't finna find him in your house while you're cleaning.
Yep.
Girl, like
I've been told
he's
that.
not gonna knock. He's not the pizza man that's gonna knock on your door. Like, girl,
Let me
you
not
gotta
tell
go
you where
out.
she said to go this weekend.
But you're going to LA. You're
But
going
she
to
said
eat.
go to what's that place in Claremont? But
No, she did not say Bardot.
no, Walters or Whispers. I don't know. but it's-
Whisper's house.
No,
No. It's something older. It's in the old part of the village. And I was like 60s and up, and she was like, "Well, food's good." And I was like, "No, we can't."
No, I told her.
Oh.
I talked to her the other day, and I said, "You guys are going to LA,"
Thank
and then I
you.
made
Okay,
Nathan
thank
give me
you.
all the requirements in LA, Mother
Thank you.
Wolf, and all of those.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
But she's one. So like, I know you like to go out. You go to I've never been LA. Yeah, the city or the music.
Angeles?
No.
Oh, the festival?
Hollywood
Yes,
Bowl.
yes, yes.
Oh,
Hollywood
the
Bowl.
bowl.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
go to
thank
the
you.
Hollywood Bowl a
Cool.
lot. Yeah.
I do.
Do you find men there? Like, do you go up? Do they come up to you? Like, what does that look like? Because as a Christian woman, at what point do you say, because a lot of women are like, well, I can't find him in a club, obviously, but where are you allowing yourself to be to possibly interact with somebody, obviously, of the opposite sex?
Yeah, if it's concerts, if it's instead of watching a game inside my living room, it's like, let me go somewhere to watch the game if it's somewhere in downtown LA.
Oh, so you'll go to like, like just a random restaurant and bar.
There's
yeah,
football places that will show, you go on a Sunday and it'll show every game.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
you go there to watch the game, or go over to my friend's house and they'll have
No, tell me the story of you at the restaurant when you guys were watching football.
So
And the
me
guy gave you some
advice.
tips. Yeah.
So it was that place in Long Beach, and we're watching football, and it's just me and another girlfriend sitting there, and we're in a room full of men, and we see men approaching like all these other women, and they're like making eye contact with me and her, but like nobody's saying anything. And this older gentleman came up, and he was just like, "Can I just give you both a piece of advice?" And he was like,
I see you're looking.
Yeah, he was like, this whole time, and it was like a long family community table like this, and we're sitting across from each other like this. And he said, this whole time, you guys are facing each other. You're not welcoming. Like, no guy's gonna like squeeze themselves in to come talk to you. All those women are like sitting up there, and it's welcoming. Like, they could easily walk up to them. And then he was like, smile when you talk, even if it's not a funny conversation. We can't hear what you're saying, but like, it looks like you're having a serious
You're having a
conversation.
serious. You're not approachable.
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh, okay. But no,
You're
it
like
was,
another
over,
thing
girl.
to do.
He said, "I could tell you ladies are thirsty, but
but you're not getting any water.
let this old man give you some pointers now."
And then he was out. But
thanks,
That
sir.
was so nice.
that
though.
was
Like
logical
Yeah.
advice that I love to hear. And that's where I struggle sometimes as a single Christian woman, because we always get that Christianese advice. Like, wait on the Lord. And it's when you do X, Y, and Z, you get this. And it's like, what
Be
about
content.
that? Be content. And it's like, what about that logical advice like an old man has to give me at this
Yeah.
spot? Like, am I smiling? Am I closed off? Am I welcoming? Those we give men logical advice, single Christian men, when they're looking to date, like, get your finances in order, like what kind of, but when it comes to women, it's like, we don't give the advice Naomi gave Ruth. Like, we're just giving, she literally gave her a list of things to do.
Yeah.
And nowadays we're just telling, trust in the Lord.
Yeah. I wish I could have like a camera just following you on a day and then like, okay, Janelle, this is where,
Get earpiece.
Girl,
yeah.
put that eyebrow down.
Smile,
Yeah,
smile,
right,
smile.
Right.
She's gonna like short circuit.
Yeah, but that's really great advice, just because you never, obviously in the dating world, you don't know what you're giving off, but if someone's able to give you advice like that man was, it's just the perception of what he's seeing. Like,
I had given you a piece of advice one time, and you took it. I said that you look very busy and content on social media.
Yeah.
Because you're always with a big group of friends. You're always doing something. You're always playing softball. You're always going to the gym. I said, it's okay for you to post the gym because that's great, but you look like you don't need a man,
Yes.
nor want a man. And I had asked you, I'd said, would you be willing to give up that life if a man were to come into your life? And you said, absolutely 100%. And I said, I don't know if a man watching your Instagram would feel that and perhaps would feel intimidated, not of you, but of the fact that he would now have to compete with your social life.
That's a good point.
And to maybe tone that down a little bit.
Received.
Just a
Received.
So I'm saying that she's like, all right, listen.
I'm
So why are you
listening.
bringing it up
I'm
again?
listening.
Because I think that's good maybe for other people who might be watching this and they want to date and whatnot, and they are trying to give off the. I mean, you are very busy. You're busy because you're single and you can do all that stuff, but not everybody who has that active of a social life wants to give up that social life when a man comes into play. They want their man to go into that social life. Not every man wants that. They want to settle down. They want to have a quiet life, things like that. So if somebody is promoting their life that way on social media, but maybe that's not what a man would want, they might look at that and say, there's no room for me here, so I'm not even going to approach this woman.
Great point.
So
Are you open, if I can ask this, Janelle? I know we don't really know each other, but are you open to like online dating?
I was just gonna ask that.
Been there, done that.
Oh, I did that. Yeah, that's how I was going on some of my dates, but it was becoming like pen pal. Like I prefer to meet sooner than later, and I think a lot of people are comfortable with keeping it online longer.
Oh,
and
okay, talking and texting.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay. And when I did that, say it was like a couple months of talking and I would finally meet them, they were not the person.
so it's a waste of time.
Yeah, they weren't in person. They weren't the same person on the phone, like texting. And I get it. You could hide behind text. You could clean it up and all that. I would go on dates and it's like talking to a wall, brick wall. I'm like, where's the communication?
Yeah, and that's
But-
the hard part because when you're doing it online, you can hide behind it, and the personality completely changes. Or then they get in person and then they freeze up.
Yeah.
Or they sing you a song.
And I think
Never would have made it.
and I think I don't want to say just men do this because women could do it too. With online dating, you could reach so many.
But
So instead
I
of
will say
investing
this.
in one.
You don't think anything's wrong with online dating?
Oh, no. I didn't purposely get off. I thought I just deleted the app and then I went back on like, oh, let me do, and then God was like, no, I guess because it's gone. So my whole account was gone. So, but no, I used to be on online dating. I have nothing against it. It's just, I just found like the men that I was meeting, I can tell they were matching with so many others and I wasn't getting their full attention. So it was like, okay, I like this about her, but I like this about her. I like this about her.
Yeah,
And it's like,
you're kind of like picking and choosing things and
Yeah.
creating the perfect woman, but that's not real life.
yeah.
Is there a
picking-
dating app geared for like women to find them? Like, cause I know like a lot of just both, right? Like,
Wait, no, isn't which one's it's Tinder? Tinder's for women, Hinge's for men. One of the two, right? Isn't
I don't
it?
know.
No, I think they're both for both.
But not like I know they're both for both, but like the woman accepts the request,
Oh,
right? There's one.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't know.
curious.
It's been so
My God. Look,
I thought you just matched.
these
I think they're,
weren't even invented when I started dating. Pastor
Gosh,
Eric.
No, I think there should be an online dating where like you could only match one at a time.
I agree.
And then when you're done, that other person could see when you're done because you won't get another match until like you off click or something. Because it's just, and women do it too, but we're comparing. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, but this guy makes this much. Oh, but this guy loves Jesus. Oh, but
Yeah.
let me just get to know one. Okay, didn't work out. Next.
Right.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, even at that point in time, you're meeting somebody. You don't know if it could turn into a friendship. And at that, hey, let's do this together. Yeah. Let's figure this thing out.
Do you have any friends?
Right? Do you have any friends that are single? Let's figure
this didn't
out.
work.
Right. This one didn't work, but hey, I like you enough to find somebody for you.
Right.
Let's do that.
Just not me.
Just it ain't me. It ain't me. No, but I think that's what Allie was talking about because when on a long episode last year when we had her and Eric on, she was saying that there's an app on I forget what dating app is. You can pay a different caliber of people to get the better caliber and all of that. We never did a follow up, and she would show us, and we're like, oh, Again, no. It actually went down. It went down.
These are the people who are like so desperate that they're
Yes.
willing to give so much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Online
Yes.
dating sounds fun.
It's trash.
It's,
It's just
but
another avenue.
you have done speed dating.
Yeah. It
Yes. I'm
How was
divulging
that?
your whole
Yeah.
life.
How is that?
was interesting.
Yeah.
I
Was it fun?
it was fun getting to know different people. I think maybe it matters where it is.
Okay.
So it was in downtown LA, so downtown just has that mix of everyone.
Yeah.
So
What age range did you find yourself in that speed dating that was comfortable? Because I feel like someone doing speed dating like that, they have to be comfortable in their skin, and they would have to be older. I don't see young people doing that.
I think this one had
you can't hide.
age range on it. So I want to say it was like 30 to 45.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just some characters on there. It was downtown LA. So if you ever people watching downtown, they were at the speed dating.
And you don't have like your parents don't have like friends with kids. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I've known them for like 20 plus years, and all of a sudden you're just like,
No, you would think, huh? You think the three of you would too. But
You know what?
We
You know
we
what?
all just said we don't
tried.
have
You know what?
friends. Yeah, you're our friend.
This table right here is the extent of my friendships. Thank you.
This is what you guys are in, and this is to all my friends and all my family listening. You guys are in so many different rooms in life. So I feel like
You think, but we're not.
But I feel like if we went to lunch and Nancy was like, I need a painter, one of y'all would be like, I know someone who knows someone that's a painter. But we don't do that when it comes to our single friends. Like, and I don't mean you have to be friends with them, but like if you go to an outing and you know that so-and-so's, is single, does it pop in your head like, oh, wait a minute, this person's single?
there's no one single that I would even consider for you.
I think that's the thing. And for me, because I am very protective, if it goes wrong, you ain't blaming me. Not
Lead
blaming
with
me.
that. Lead with that.
You don't blame me.
I'm still friends with her.
Yeah.
listen to me.
Here we
Listen to me.
She owes me a whole husband.
my
y'all,
gosh.
and she owes me half one.
One bad date, and I've heard it for the last 2 years.
And she will
Well, I
keep
don't
on
say
hearing it
Listen.
until my wedding day.
And the
don't say
first
anything.
one
And
I
that's
said,
why.
I
That's
suggested.
why you haven't gotten another date, because I'm too scared to send anybody your way.
Point me. And then this one over here, yeah, she owes me half
I'm
one.
reaching for options.
You want Rooster?
I know, right?
Rooster will love on you.
He will.
He showed me
Barely.
some love when I walked in.
Barely. No, but I love this conversation just because I think it gives good dialogue, just honestly for the women's side of things, but then also men's side of things, to where they can think of like, how am I handling dates? How do I react when someone is confident in themselves? And what are certain reflections that I may need to do? And also getting wisdom from people that are just going out and just saying, hey, I'd love to take advice from anyone and everyone, because this is a desire of mine to be in a relationship.
I think for men, like for single men, if you do meet a single woman that's a Christian, like you don't need to be a disciple or a deacon. But at the same time, single Christian women, we need to stop expecting like, oh, I want this man of God. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. Like, men sometimes worship different than us. Like, they serve different than us.
Well, and Pastor
Like,
Adam had said in a podcast, maybe last week or whatnot, that a lot of men don't really understand their Christian walk until they're married, because now there's so much more at stake. Now you're leading a wife, and now you're having children, and you're thinking about so much more than just your selfish ways. So that could be, we're constantly telling women, and so much of this is true, and I would still say this to anybody who's single, that you want somebody who's equally yoked with you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to
Be a
know
theologian.
more, like or they have to have everything together. He could still be a work in progress. He could still be working on his walk with God. He just has to be able to show you the character of Jesus, and then everything else you guys do together. And it's totally okay. We expect that our husbands have the faith walk of Pastor Adam. And a lot of women in the church expect, because that's their pastor and that's what they should be looking like.
Girl, you don't go home with him.
And as his sister, how much he has grown since marrying Ashley. You know, just saying.
But to go back on when you like the equally yoked, and the yoked is with the ox, right? And the both sides being equal.
They're going in the same direction.
Same direction.
That's what it means.
And it doesn't have to be the same thing. Like my serving could be different, you know. And I remember when you were starting the legacy, and you were explaining that ministry, and like serving is different and worshiping is different. And I think sometimes single Christian women do that. It needs to be like my pastor. It needs to, you know, look like I volunteer at this, and this. Like I need him to do that too. And it's.
Well, I think sometimes women or people, because it could be men, towards like we have this expectation of a partner needing to be at a certain level and meet all the criterias. And there's just some areas where people are still growing and maturing, and it's okay. That, like, if you're using our pastor or a pastor as the guide, then no, you know, it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
And you see these guys who have been in the ministry game for so long, and they have gone through the trials, they have gone through the tribulations, they have been burned, they have cried, they have wept, they have done all these things that nobody sees. You know, and so they, you know, at least for the three of us who are married to the executives of the church, we have seen them be, I would use the example of being refined.
Yeah.
But being refined happens in a fire, you know, in the heat. And so we've seen all of that. And you think that you're going to get that you're ready. If you haven't been through the fire, if you haven't been refined, then are you even equally yoked to the person that you think that you're good enough for?
That part.
And so if you're a work in progress, it's okay to be with a man who's a work in progress as well, as long as the character is not in question. He's every day working on his relationship with Jesus. Pew pew.
Shoot him down.
And
Knock them out.
And you are going in the same direction. I think we do put a lot of emphasis on expecting men to be everything, and also having them be okay with the fact that we're not.
Yeah.
All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all of that. Yeah, because I think that the point that you made that was really good is the fact that we're always growing and we're always refining, but that's continually. Like you get refined being married, you get refined as a mother and a father, then you become refined as parents. Like it's continual, like there's fire that's going to continually mold you into where God has intended you to be within your marriage. But I think this expectation that this man that you're looking for has to be holier than thou. He has to have all his ducks in a row. He has to know how to lead. Lead what? You're not married right now. As long as he can lead you to Chick-fil-A, then let him lead you to Chick-fil-A and go on a date. And then pray over the Chick-fil-A, real short, sweet, and simple. Jesus is chicken, and call it a day and go on a date. I think the expectation to have for these men is just you beat them down because they're not the 666, like we said, 6-pack, 6 feet, 6 figures. Like, come on,
right?
Like we have to give some grace and room because, girl, you probably got some cavities and silver teeth in the back of your mouth. You can't have it all.
Not silver
You
teeth.
can't have it all. Like if you're not perfect, he can't. He's not supposed to be perfect either.
Right.
The only one that was perfect was Jesus. So until you are Jesus, girl, you better pick that man up.
You are Jesus.
Yeah, and you ain't finna be.
I think that's the problem with our society right now. It's I don't want to say it's a feminist movement, but like we don't.
Oh no,
we're
It's
not
okay to say it.
Well,
We haven't started on the feminist
But
movement.
we don't take accountability as women because dare we break down a woman, but like we can break down a man and
100%.
say what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you're doing that and you want a spouse and you want a man, like we gotta be realistic, like you ladies were saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
It's always I talked about the Beyond I Do, is that victim mentality at all times. It's like, come on, we have to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and say, what is it that I need to change in order for God to move in a space that I need him to move? And you have to have your ears open. You can't be like, okay, God, move, because I told you to move. No, you need to move out the way and let him intercede so that he can speak to your heart of where you need to maybe not have such strict contingencies of like, he has to lead a Bible study. Okay, girl, did you ever lead one? Did you ever lead one? Like, what does that look like? What standards are you upholding to and having this view of? Because not to say like we make jokes about Adam. Adam and I talk about all the time. Yes, his walk was further than mine, but his discernment, girl, he was so near, like he couldn't see nothing. He was so nearsighted, he was so blurred.
He's like, everyone is so nice and so great, and I'm going to share my whole life with them.
And Ash was like, no.
No.
No, we're not.
Not that one, not that one, not that one. This one's cool.
It's a no for me, dog.
But that's no.
But like, if I were to been like, oh, he has zero discernment. What kind of leader is he? He ain't got no man. If he can't decide he can't see that person ain't good. No, that's not for him to see. That's what God created me for him. Like to come together. There are certain things, because not to say like just as long as they're in church, you spiritually do grow together.
I mean, the Bible says to becoming one. I mean, it never said like to became one, right? Like it's a constant work together, and we need to be, as women or, just partners, ready to be flexible to fix and change, but we need to be a great partner, and vice versa, right, with our husbands or partners.
And that's what I'm choosing to shift my mindset on in this season. Instead of just waiting like, okay, God, when, like use this time as preparation. Like, so when it does come, it's the ground is fertile and it's ready. When the blessing, the seed comes, like I don't have to like nurture it as much. Like I'm using this time for preparation.
That's good. The word you used was really good, being flexible. I think that's just naturally just being flexible when you're in the dating season. Like because even after the date that you went on, I loved Erica's, because I texted you and I said, don't listen to Erica, she's crazy. But
I forgot. I remembered the rest of the story after.
She was being so flexible because she's being so hopeful that it was, we don't know what reason. And if we were to bring him in the room and be like, share with me what went through your head. I was nervous, was intimidated. Like those could have been it. And then at that point, your walls could have came down and been like, let's start over.
Yeah.
This is what I liked on the first date.
Yeah.
This is how it went down for me. I was like, I wouldn't have gone on a second date if I didn't enjoy the first date.
Yeah.
But I need you to understand, I am not who you're perceiving me to be.
Yeah.
I am who I was on the first date, and that you're getting all of me in that role setting. So just being flexible sometimes, of just not shutting it off right away, and possibly bringing it back to asking those questions and being comfortable asking those questions.
Many people don't want to communicate or be like, oh, it's going to come across mean. No, be okay with just asking questions and trying to find out who is this real person.
Why did you choose to sing?
Why did
On a date.
you choose that song?
Yeah.
Right?
During Thai
Sing,
food.
period.
No, but
you're right. Yeah.
I think this is really good context of the reflection of that, of dating, of knowing that online dating is not a bad thing. Because I know a lot of Christians are like, well, I'm not online
It's just
dating. How
another
dare I?
avenue.
I'm not going to stoop that low. I'm not that desperate.
But you are.
But you are. Yeah.
It's just another avenue.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so it gives great context of having great friendships and having great relationships, and then hearing from a perspective from you, obviously going through the avenues and the ups and downs that you have, because I don't think I don't know if Adam's had people on lately that can speak to that, of understanding like it's all a self-reflection in this dating season that
What
I'm
you
in.
said earlier is take note what I liked, what I didn't like on a date. Like I was telling Nikki and the girls, like, dates are awesome to me. Every date I learned something. Like, oh, I kind of like that. Never knew I was, attracted to that in a man, or, or really didn't like that. Thought I was attracted to this, but then in reality, no.
Yeah.
Every date is practice.
Yeah. Did you go on a lot of dates, Sanaz?
Back in the day? Oh my God. Hold on. Let me dust off my eyeballs to even think about back when I was dating. It's been a minute. Yeah, I want to. Well, I was the type of girl who was in these long-term situationships.
Okay, you're in situationships.
So, the what are we? The like, let's not label what we are, but it's been 3 years. We should be something. That was me. That was me. Nancy knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I had a lot of long-term situationships because I was insecure and I never wanted to lose them. So I never demanded some type of a label, and all that kind of stuff. So, but I did do a lot of like dating where it was like 1 date or 2 dates and stuff like that. Yeah, in my early 20s, right when online dating like first started. When you really, you had to like have your friend call you on the date just to make sure that you were, alive because it was just so new that it was like you're meeting a stranger.
Right.
So I got to call you and tell you that your dog died and it was fine because I didn't have a dog. So there was no like, But yeah, I went on a lot of dates. And so it was just, it was a lot of practice for, eventually but that's what ended up happening with me because I was in so many situationships that when I met Nathan and we hung out in a group with friends for a few weeks and then he asked me to go out with him. And when we went out to dinner that night and he said, and these were exact words. He says, "I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last 6 weeks. I've talked to my community and about you, and I've decided that if you'd like, I'd like to be just with you. I'd like to." I'd like to pursue you and I'd like to be official with you. And just so you know, I don't date to date. I date with intention. And so if I will be seeking the Lord as we're together and this is for the intention of marriage and I will know by the end of the year and I will ask you by the end of the year or we'll break up. And I was 32 years old and I had been in these non-relationships my whole life. I had one actual true boyfriend my whole life, but I had been in multiple serious situationships on my end throughout my 20s. So when I heard those words, I knew that he was just so different than anybody else that I had ever dated. And I was like, that was it.
Outside of hearing those words, what stood out to you, besides obviously we know character, ethics, and morals that we all know that is something that is substantial for someone to have in order to be in a relationship. What is something else unique that I would say that caught your eye with Nathan that made it different to where you're like, I want that. Like, I want to date this guy. Because, like, I feel like there's certain things, like you have said, that you're like, has there ever been something you're like, I want to keep dating this guy? Or I hope this continues.
When I first met Nathan, I wanted nothing to do with him because he wasn't my type at all. I had no intention of moving because I was living in Woodland Hills at the time. In the valley. And I was going to the church that I was saved at. So I was very emotionally tied to my church. And he was a pastor. And then the whole 666 thing, he didn't have 6 figures. He wasn't 6 feet. And he surely did not have a 6-pack at the time.
And Adam would say, and he wasn't black.
Correct.
Yes, Nancy. She's like you.
Sorry, Nancy. Yes.
She's very much like you. Yes, she was like you.
So I wanted nothing to do with him. I told my friend who introduced us. I was like, I'm just like, a friend introduced us.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead.
Shut up.
Oh, okay. No, sorry. I was just waiting for us to get to that point. But go ahead. Okay.
Well,
I was slow to that one.
Well, yes. However, I was open because I said, I'm not interested, friend. And he said, hey, maybe what's the problem with Nathan? I said, well, he's not my type. I don't want to move. I don't want to be a pastor's wife, and I don't want to switch churches. And he said, how is all of that working for you? How's your type working for you, Sanaz? And I said, first of all, watch your tone. Let's not. But I went back and I was like, maybe I need to be challenged with what I believe is what a man is, because Nathan did not give off I always say, I always wanted a man who was really into sports, who could carry me up the stairs. And
I could walk. You don't have to carry me. Anyone listening?
no, I wanted a man to carry me up
I'm
the
obese, so you don't need to.
Oh no! But this is what's so funny though, because at our what's the rehearsal dinner? At the rehearsal dinner, our rehearsal dinner. So the day before Nathan and I got married, we were at the rehearsal dinner. This friend stands up and gives a speech and says, Sanaz always wanted a guy who could carry up the stairs. And if you knew what Sanaz looked like before, you knew that was quite a feat. And I was like, dang, I'm just being absolutely annihilated right now. Because Sanaz was a big girl back in the day. So yes, not just obese, beyond morbidly obese was what I was called back then. But you know what? I still
The glow up.
It was, and you know, I still looked good back then. Okay, so yeah, the expectation I had of a man was quite not the match that I was giving him, but. I just went outside of my comfort zone and I just trusted God. And God was the one that actually told me, he's like, hey, you know, this is more, you don't want to move. You don't want to switch churches. You don't want to be a pastor's wife. All of that is based off of your insecurity because you think that you're not good enough. Has nothing to do with Nathan. This is a plan and a purpose that I have for your life. And I need you to lean into that. And so I gave Nathan a chance, and there just came a moment where I felt so safe with him. And I know that a lot of times when people are dating and you think it's supposed to be exciting and you think it's supposed to be passionate, that feeling safe is almost like it has a connotation of it being boring. There's nothing boring about my relationship with Nathan. It was a feeling that I felt so secure and so safe, and I had never felt that way in any of my other relationships. So that was so exciting to me that I just felt safe because I'd never felt that before. And that's when I knew that this was going to be something that was different and this was the right thing to do. But I had to get out of my own way. I had to get out of, thinking that I had a picture in my head of what my husband looked like. I thought that, I was going to have a husband who was going to be the coach of all of the little league sports, and that we were going to be tailgating at the USC football games. And I thought that, we were, all of those. My husband ain't none of that stuff. But sure but sure ain't. But I had to rediscover what manhood was and what a real man was. And a real man isn't a guy who farts and scratches his body parts. That's not what a man is. A man is somebody who makes you feel safe. A man is a man who takes care of your emotional needs, who protects you, and who loves you unconditionally. It's not necessarily the guy who is into the sports or into all of these masculine type of things. And so that was for me to rediscover what manhood looked like. My husband is a manly man.
Yes.
When you're talking about what biblical manhood looks like. And I had to get out of my own way and discover what that looks like. And I'm so happy that God really graced me through that, because had I gone into that relationship with the immaturity that I had maybe even months before Nathan and I had met, I don't know if I would be here right now. I don't know where I'd be right now. So
In the valley.
Single.
Yeah, not with the Janelle friend. But no, this was really, really good, ladies. I really enjoyed having you on, Janelle.
Oh, my
I
goodness,
loved
guys, for
all
having
your
me.
wisdom. I know that all the ladies, single ladies and men, are going to enjoy to hear what you had to say. And obviously, hearing about relationships and friendships and all of the whatnots. And hopefully this does stir conversations, obviously within relationships, in your marriage, what it may look like, or just in your friendships, having those open conversations with, like, I know how you and Nikki are now having these conversations and dialogue, but authentic, like accountability, like open-minded, just learning and growing from each other, which you genuinely need in the dating aspect, to having girlfriends that you're doing that with. Is just, I hope it opens up a whole bunch of conversations that are going to be had. But thank you guys so much for being on here today for our first ever Beyond. It's our first ever Beyond the Letter All Ladies, right? Yes, our
All
first
right.
ever. Hope we did not
I
disappoint.
don't know if Pastor Adam's going to have us back.
Who knows?
Sorry.
It was good while it lasted.
I'm gonna
If not,
need. We're gonna need. So we're asking everyone to a lot of views, share it with everybody,
with
so that
everyone.
we can let him know.
Yes.
it was a
We'll
tough
pass this
watch.
back.
Yes, everyone's gonna say they listened to it on volume 1, but we're great.
Sorry.
It's great.
Sorry.
It's great.
There
Thank
was
you
a lot of
guys.
Bye.
Bye.